Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening, day, morning, wherever you are. I know that there's at least going to be some Aussies watching us tonight. So, episode 15, versus stream, Punisher versus the Grimnite. And for many people who do not know, Grimnite is from a dark alternate universe of Batman. He is basically Bruce Wayne, who is basically like a mix of the Punisher. So a little background to give on him, but before...
Sorry, that was me.
That's all right. Now, before I do, I'm going to introduce my excellent selection of panelists tonight. We got Mara Jade, Comic Chat and Runner Studios. Mara, you want to give a brief introduction?
Hello, I am Mara Jade. On YouTube, I am Jade Shadow, what you see in the parentheses. On Twitter, I am OG Mara Jade. And on Twitch, I am Jade_Fire. So I keep everyone guessing based on what name I choose for whatever social platform I'm on. Normally, I would have had a video today, but I was busy getting clips for my own StreamYard account for my live stream tomorrow. The Nerdy and the Lethal, which I do every Saturday with Lethal Lightning at 10 p.m. Eastern. So we will be back again tomorrow evening for that. So stay tuned.
Nice. Comic Chat. Give a
Hello,
brief
my
plug.
name is Danny, aka Comic Chat. You can find me on YouTube at Comic Chat. On Twitter, it's Comic Chats 2. I have several shows throughout the week. I discuss several different topics like we are doing tonight. And I have one sports talk show we do on Saturdays, me and 3 other guys. So I'm glad to be a part of the show. Thanks for inviting me on, Chat.
You're very welcome. You were on during the Superman versus Goku stream, and that was a great stream.
Yes, sir. I usually be on the team that people say I'm crazy for being on. I think Goku is superior, but yeah, that's an argument for another day.
Exactly. Alrighty, Runner, how you doing? Give us a plug.
I'm doing good. I'm on YouTube, Runner Studios. I'm also on Twitter. I am part of a show called Leg Gaming Lounge. It is every Thursday. It's either going to be on Culture Casino's channel, Kai Makes Fun Stuff, or Angela Straven's channel. Go check that out if you're into video games, want to talk about video games. Just hang out in the chat. It's a lot of fun. That's it.
Okay, so Punisher versus Grimnite. Now, normally I ask everybody who would win without going into detail first, but because we have a very new character that is virtually unknown to most, we are going to forego that one so I can give a little bit of background into this version of the Dark Knight. So
I did my homework on Chat, so I know a little bit too. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
Slasher, good to see you too. I see you in the chat. Now, this is Bruce Wayne from a darker alternate universe. This is, or pretty much he was put on the same path of the Prime counterpart until the murder of his parents. On this Earth, or this one, Joe Chill drops his gun in search of Martha's pearls, and Bruce picks up the gun and shoots Joe Chill to death. It's basically snapping him more than the normal Bruce would. Now, this Bruce also travels the world, learning from mercs and assassins, and instead of the normal inspiration of the Bat, or of how Bruce became Batman, this one, he actually kills a bat that broke through his window, and he took it from there. This Batman is also just as smart, and except that he doesn't have the moral code that the normal Dark Knight does. This one, he uses guns, he kills. He's basically in his first year wiped out 80 to 90% of crime in Gotham City. And he has he has armament caches all over Gotham City. He basically took over Gotham City. He has Wayne Tech all throughout the city. In this universe, Harvey Dent was not district attorney, but mayor. And he actually blackmailed him into setting up Wayne Tech all throughout the city. And it's just, wow. The more I read into this, it's like, holy crap. He has auto guns set up all throughout, where if there's like a bank robbery or whatever and there's a getaway car, well, there's an auto gun that will zoom in on that car really quick and just blast it to shreds. This is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with when it comes to Grimnite. Within his first year as the Masked Crusader, he attacked a party attended by corrupt rich of Gotham who protected the criminal elements of the city and burned them alive. Following that, the city erupted into chaos and quickly killed several prominent crime bosses to instill order. Carmine Falcone, Tony Zucco, Oswald Cobblepot, Roman Sionis, and Waylon Jones. These are all big names if you know your Batman lore, folks. Also, he killed the Red Hood at Ace Chemicals plant, ridding the world of a possible Joker. So there was no Joker that we know of in this world. This did draw Jim Gordon's attention, and it basically, after putting two and two together, after a year of terror from Grimnite, Jim Gordon brought in the FBI when he realized that that Bruce Wayne is this version's Batman. And it took a gun to his head to actually get him subdued. Now, we all know much more that if you follow the comics, the Batman Who Laughs recruits this Grimnite to fight against Batman of the Prime Universe. So this Batman, I don't know if he's versed in all 32 different martial arts that our Prime Batman knows, but like I said, he is just as smart, he is just as skilled, but he doesn't have the morals that the Dark Knight has. So it makes him all the more dangerous. Now, a brief background on Punisher, because, well, let's face it, everybody knows Punisher. Punisher, the one that we're going to use is 616. And doing the research on him, believe me, folks, I thought this would be mostly one-sided, but after reading up on Punisher there's a lot of stuff I didn't know, because, let's face it, I'm not a comic person. But this Punisher, he basically does the same thing. He wages war, does not give a crap, will not care if he kills or who he kills, except unless it's innocents, he won't kill innocents. Now, this Punisher, this is one of the things that is interesting. His pain threshold is way up there. This guy can basically take as much pain as some superheroes with powers. Now, I'm not saying he's invincible, but he also refuses to take any pain meds if he is seriously injured. He does his surgeries. If he has like lacerations, he'll do surgeries without pain meds to keep himself, or because he doesn't want to be in any way, shape, or form compromised mentally or physically because of pain meds. Now, everybody knows the tragic happening of Frank Castle and his family. So this guy also has gone toe-to-toe with some super-powered beings. He's gone up against Spider-Man. He's gone up against Daredevil. He's fought the Kingpin. He even actually did a stint as War Machine, which is pretty interesting. And he actually kept the suit against the wishes of Nick Fury. So he's not going to have the War Machine suit, folks. I mean, as much as I'd love to give him every advantage he can for this fight, we're going to stick with only the guns that we're not going to give him too much of a boost because, let's face it, them with guns would be enough. But he also does have martial arts training, and I do want to find that for a second. Powers and abilities. Also, he does not, or not that it matters in this because Grimnite is not a psychic in any way. He can't be mind controlled. That's an interesting fact that I learned about Frank Castle. Somebody tried reading his mind, and he's like, that doesn't hurt as much as others. He shrugs it off. Now, martial arts mastery. Specifically, he is highly adept in American-style CQC, close quarters combat, ninjutsu, shonryu karate, hwarang do, shin na, and nash ryu jiu-jitsu, his style of choice being the latter. So he can also handle himself hand-to-hand. He is a Spec Ops veteran, or I believe a Marine, or was he a SEAL?
Marine.
Yep, he was a Marine. And he's done counterterrorism, or that could have been a different Frank from another universe. We've all seen the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
A while ago, but yes.
Mhm.
Punisher
Well,
Warzone.
either.
Punisher Warzone was better.
Yeah. My favorite part in that movie was the pseudo torture scene he gives to what's his name?
John Travolta.
No, not John Travolta, but his lackey with the popsicle. I mean, that in a way does kind of give you a sense of that Frank Castle does have a very sick and twisted mind. He'll torture you. He will torture you. He will go full-blown violent with his torture as well, but he's not stupid. He's a master tactician. Like I said, he's gone up against superpowered beings, and he had to rely on his wits instead of his physical abilities. So, yeah, this guy is no slouch. So now with that out of the way, we're going to go with who do you think will win and why first out? And we'll start with Mara.
Well, this is actually going to be a really, really close one. But part of me, even not knowing a lot about the Grimnite, probably would give it to the Grimnite. It would be a close fight. Frank Castle would hold his own, I think, for a long time. But I think the edge would go to Bruce Wayne as Grimnite. At least the edge would be, yes, Frank Castle has to use wits, so he is very intelligent. He is a tactician, but Bruce Wayne is like a genius level of intelligence. Combine that with the fact that he has armament all around the city, so he has use of the tech and anything he's created gives him, I think, a slight advantage in this case. It's not going to be an easy fight, but I think I give the edge to Grimnite.
All right. Dan, who do you think would win?
I'm going with Grimnite also, for the simple fact that unless something has happened, the Punisher is not rich. Bruce Wayne is. He has billions of dollars. He can replace his weapons. I think Punisher is more of a scourger or opportunist. Whenever he runs out of armament, he hits somewhere and gets what he needs or whatever. He may steal money from the people he killed or the gangsters to replenish his supply, but I think Grimnite doesn't have that problem. Also, I agree with what Mara just said. While Punisher is a master tactician, Bruce Wayne is a genius. Also, you said earlier that the Punisher won't kill innocents, but based on reading I've read on the Batman Who Laughs, he doesn't care anything about innocence, and if Grimnite's working with him, then collateral damage of innocence, pretty much they don't care about that. And also, if you follow some of the lore and canon of Batman, Batman was able to devise a plan to neutralize all of the Justice League members. So if he has that same Bruce Wayne intelligence on 616 universe, and I think he has that here, and if he's like Batman, he's always thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, while everybody else is just doing 1 or 2. Sometimes Batman is 5 or 6 steps ahead. So if he has Bruce Wayne's intelligence and savvy, I'm pulling for Grimnite.
All right, Runner.
I'm gonna have to go with Grimnite as well. I mean, I don't know the character as well as Punisher, but like, yeah, I mean, just hearing like how you explained it, I mean, yeah, I mean, like the fact that Gotham is like his basically one advantage, like he just pulls something out of anywhere, you know, use it as a weapon. I mean, and plus, you know, it's Bruce Wayne. I mean, he's a smart dude, and Punisher, that's not really in his best suit, but it is a pretty close one, knowing that they're both pretty much the same. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Grimnite on this.
All right. And truth be told, I am thinking about giving it to Grimnite. And because we are all pulling or basically thinking Grimnite will win this, we will introduce the War Machine armor. Just for the simple fact because Grimnite is extremely brilliant and whatnot. So we will introduce the War Machine armor for Frank Castle because this is 616. He has had it. Now, it may not give him a distinct advantage, but it will give him a little bit better of a chance. Now, even with the War Machine armor, I do think that Grimnite will also take it, but it will be a lot more of a better fight between them. Now, one of the things that I do like about Batman, and this isn't Grimnite specifically. I actually, a few days ago, watched the movie Justice League Doom, and referencing to something that Dan said earlier, he basically said, or he has contingencies to detain the Justice League, to stop them if they ever went rogue. And I love one specific scene in that movie where Superman's like, "We'd never do that to you." And he just looks at him dead and he's like, "Then you're a damn fool."
Yeah. That's why I'm a Batman fan, pretty much. He says it like it is.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, he's not wrong there. You would be a damn fool to freaking not do anything about that, or to not stand up against Batman. I mean, if Batman goes rogue, and we all know basically the Batman Who Laughs, he slaughtered the Justice League. Mm-hmm. He completely slaughtered them. Mm-hmm. And so before we do get further into it, let me check in with the chat. We got Angry Vader, how you doing? Daytona Falls, good to see you. Slasher McSplitter, Darth Haster, awesome. Comic Chat is in the chat too. Soul Assassin, thank you for being here. He is my best mod, folks. Well, I wouldn't say best, but he's definitely a great mod. Oh, who the hell am I kidding? He's the best mod. Anyway, so people in the chat, who do you think would win in this fight? Even, or with everything that you've heard so far, who do you think would win? Don't be shy. Take part in it. So now, how do you guys see this fight going down? Do you see it going down in Gotham or taken out of his comfort zone? Do you think he would still win? Grimnite, that is.
I think even taken out of his comfort zone, he would still win. But I think Frank Castle would definitely do that because he would want to put himself at an advantage, given his tactician mentality. Like, as a not I wasn't a Marine, I was an Air Force vet, but basically you have to look at like situations tactically, and you want to look at them to your best advantage. And if he looks at it and says, "Well, my best advantage is getting this guy out of Gotham," he's going to do that. Will it be to his advantage where he would win? I still don't think so, given the genius level of intellect that Bruce Wayne has. But it would give him a better advantage.
Yeah. Comic chat?
I think I agree with Marjorie saying that the Punisher would try to get him off of his home turf into someone that would be more advantageous for him to have the upper hand. But I think if Grimnite is working with the Batman Who Laughs, he probably would get the special dark metal that Batman Who Laughs uses, give him an upper hand because it has special properties. And I think that would be the upper hand if Punisher decided to use a War Machine armor. Because there's something in that metal that has special properties that enhances the senses and there's other crazy stuff. So I think, along with his brilliance, his gadgets, financial resources, and all that stuff, and the addition of that dark metal, that he would eventually. I don't think it would be close. He may. I think, based on a little bit I read from them, they kind of like to toy with people some too. So I think it would make the Punisher think he's winning more than he really was, and then when he got bored, go ahead and do what they need to do.
All right. And Runner.
So, yeah, I pretty much agree with what's going on here. Like Danny was just saying, yeah, like if Punisher, speaking of like, the Iron Man armor that he would use, like, yeah, he would have an advantage there, but I will say that knowing that, Grimnite, because he's also Batman, he could have something up his sleeve to, I don't know, what you call it, like a jammer or something, like something to like possibly slow the suit down or what have you. But yeah, I mean, they both have really incredible skills when it comes to that sort of stuff.
You bring up a good point, Runner, because I would like to see which tech is better, Stark Tech or Wayne Tech. So that
Exactly.
That's a good point.
We are actually going to investigate that later on in the last versus stream of this season and this year, actually, because the last versus stream is going to be Iron Man versus Batman.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I think I'd still give it to Batman, but that's going to be close.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, how I see the scenario, yes, Punisher would want to get Batman out of his element, take him out of Gotham so he would, definitely survive longer. Because, let's face it, Batman would be controlling everything from the Batcomputer. Now, the problem is, he better have a remote uplink to the Batcomputer because at this point, Grimnite no longer has Alfred. He would not have Alfred at the Batcomputer because Alfred actually left him. Even though he also left him knowing that he had a bomb in his damn chest because Bruce Wayne was just that, tyrannical in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm thinking that maybe Bruce Wayne will develop some kind of AI, kind of like Stark.
That would probably be something that he would look into. I mean, remember, this is a Batman with absolutely no morals. He does not care about collateral damage. He does not care about anything except for killing criminals. Sadly, if innocent ends up in the crossfire, yeah. Now, he would try to get him out of his comfort zone. Chances are he might even succeed, because even if he goes in with the War Machine armor into Gotham, that he has an entire city gunning on him. He has street corners that will blast him to shreds if he's not authorized in that area. So I would actually think that he would, or once he figures that the entire city is armed up against him, he's going to do his damnedest to get out of there. Now, I'm not very versed on what nth metal is, and that is the metal that Dan actually referenced with the special properties. I believe it is the nth metal, NTH. But the question is, would it stand up to a personalized weapon that is the War Machine armor? Now, I don't know the specific War Machine generation armor that this is, or that he used, but it's definitely one with a frickin' minigun on his shoulder, I could tell you that much. So,
I don't think they're different mocks like the Iron Man armor on War Machine.
yeah.
I don't think there are that many different designs. At least I've never seen them, and I've read Iron Man comic books fairly frequently, and they're all kind of the same style.
Yeah. Now, bringing it down to brass, let's just say that they outclass, or that they are not outclass each other, but go to a standstill with armament, and it does come down to hand to hand. Who do you think would win? Now, again, we do not know if this Grimnite knows the same 32 martial arts styles, but he is still no less skilled, or as skilled as the normal Batman. But does he know the same amount of martial arts, or
But based on, I'm sorry.
You can go ahead. Sorry, I'm trying to look up where I read it, because he is a master combatant.
Yeah.
Based on what you said about the Punisher's threshold, he might have the edge. I don't know if Batman's pain threshold is the same as his. I've seen on TV where Batman has been drugged, and he always has these bat antidotes to combat that stuff. But for the pain threshold, I know he does have a high pain threshold, but I don't know if he has the same threshold of pain as the Punisher does. And I'm referring to the Punisher on Netflix. He took a lot of damage, extremely a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't really have a backup like Batman does with Alfred. So when Batman gets in trouble, the few times he does, he calls for Alfred, and Alfred bails him out. So hand to hand, depending on what it is, just by the skin of his teeth, I may give that edge to the Punisher.
All right, Mara.
That's going to be difficult, because it doesn't say for sure if he learned the 32 forms of martial arts. It did say that he traveled the world, so something would be, if it kind of follows the same pattern, at least, and to a certain degree, as we know of Batman, and he did learn the 32 forms, because all it says is he's a master combatant. So I think this one would be the closest one, just because if you take away the tech and you're going by with just pure melee skills alone, I think in terms of form, Grimnite would have the advantage, but in terms of the pain threshold, Punisher would have the advantage. So it's almost like a I don't want to say give take, but essentially it's like one balances out the other to the point where I think this would be almost a draw. Almost a draw, like so close to be almost a draw.
Yeah. Runner?
Yeah, it would be pretty much a draw. I mean, if they didn't have any guns or any weapons really at all, then yeah, it's pretty much a tie between the two, I would think. We know I don't know, I was going to say Grimnite just because Batman is just he's like one of the greatest like martial artists out there, and so is Punisher, but like I don't know, I just think at the same time I think Batman or Grimnite, whatever you'd like to call him, just he can do more without weapons as well. But I think so could Punisher, but that just doesn't come up to me as much.
Well, me personally, this is where actually Punisher could shine, and because of the pain threshold that he does. And here's another thing. Now, it doesn't have any bearing, but it is an interesting fact that I would bring up. There was a time where Ghost Rider got on Punisher's case, and he actually used the penance stare on the Punisher. Now, there are different iterations of what the effects of the penance stare is. Some says it just fries you and kills you. Some says it forces you to relive all the pain and visits it back on you, and many other different iterations. Frank Castle, after the Ghost Rider looked him dead in the eye with the penance stare, he's like, so what? I don't care. I'm not remorseful.
I think if you're a person that just evil and just killing people for the sake of killing, then the penance stare will hurt you. But but the Punisher believes in his mind that he's actually doing a good thing. So if your mind telling you that what you're doing is good, then I don't think the penance stare is going to affect you.
Yeah. And another thing that could be an issue is that also the Punisher is ordained. I mean, that could also.
Punisher is also a man who got to a point where, when he says he doesn't care, that's a man that has nothing to lose. So he's already pretty much given up. I don't want to say given up his how do I put this? Like he does have a sense of right and wrong. His morality. He hasn't really given up his morality, but at the same time, he's gotten to the point where he's accepted that, like, I'm going to have to do some evil shit to save the day, to save a person, to save whatever. And he's accepted that. If he's accepted that, then no amount of penance there is going to really break that.
Yeah.
And there's another thing. Go ahead.
I think he just believes that the ends justify the means.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Mara just brought up another excellent point, which also might give Punisher a very good advantage. He doesn't care if he lives or dies either. With a person with nothing to lose, and he's often said, I don't care if I die. At least I know I can, or I'll take you all out with me. And he's actually gone against several people. He's done as much as he could, and he's walked away nearly half dead when he's gone up against multiple people. Now, with that, not caring whether or not he lives or dies, do you think that would give him a bit of an advantage?
I think that bit is what's making me say that this fight's going to be close. I still give it to Grimnite, but the hand-to-hand combat, the fight itself, when I said earlier that it's going to be a close fight, and that's part of the reason, is that this, when you include the element of he's gone beyond just accepting that whenever his time comes, it'll come. He's ready. He doesn't care. He's so far into that apathetic mentality that he will basically be a force that Grimnite is going to have to reckon with. Like I said, I still give it to Grimnite overall based on certain elements, but Punisher is going to give he's not going to give in easily, and that's one of the reasons why.
All right, Dan.
I agree with what Meredith says. I know that's easy to say you don't care whether you live or die, but self-preservation kicks in at some point. I think that if he has to die, then he's cool with that. But if he think he's going to get somebody and the probability of him dying isn't that high, then I think that he is going to plan it so there's less casualties, a chance for him surviving that attack so he can take out some more bad guys. So I think, yeah, if he's going up on what they call a suicide mission, then yeah, he probably had that mentality. I don't care if I live or die, because killing these people would be the greater good. And if it takes me sacrificing my life, then I'm ready to do it. But on the regular, I guess, day-to-day activity of being the Punisher, self-preservation is going to kick in at some point. So, but I still think that one-on-one, it'll be a toss-up. But the pain threshold thing, what you said, is leaning me just a tad bit toward the Punisher side.
Mm-hmm. Runner.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be a close one just because, like, yeah, I'm still with Grimnite, but the Punisher, yeah, no, he's not gonna just give up easily. Like, he can he can take the pain, but and yeah, I mean the hand-to-hand combat stuff is like I said earlier, it's a guaranteed draw.
Mm-hmm.
Not really much to explain there. I mean, they're both basically, like, I guess I could say they're like clones. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I do think that it would give him an advantage. And yes, there is the fact that Grimnite does go or would actually have an advantage because, well, he has learned and gone around the world. Now, here's another thing that we haven't touched on. Do you honestly expect that these two would fight fair? So,
No.
yeah.
No.
They're not going to fight fair.
No.
I mean, even if Frank Castle does convince Grimnite to just fight or go hand to hand, chances are, if he does feel like he might be losing, what are the odds he's gonna he's gonna pull a grenade and say we're both going? Because, like I said, this is a man with nothing to lose. He has nothing really to fight for except for killing as many bad guys as possible. If he realizes who Grimnite is and how much terror he's caused, if he kills Grimnite, he would actually save all of Gotham because of how much terror Grimnite has sown into that city.
I don't think Grimnite. Oh, I gotta change a little bit. The Batman Who Laughs is not gonna let Grimnite die because that's his biggest asset. So I think if he sees Grimnite getting in any kind of trouble, he's gonna intervene, and the Punisher doesn't have a chance. I don't think even Grimnite has a chance against Batman Who Laughs. So this kind of just came to me just now. If the Batman Who Laughs stay out of it,
yeah,
Punisher may have a chance. I think if he sees it getting to that critical point, I think he'll eliminate the Punisher based on what I read.
My question is, how the hell does Batman Who Laughs see through that damn visor?
It's that dark metal, and then what it does is it enhances the senses, like I told you earlier.
So that's the nth metal that he has as that spiky visor. Okay, that's interesting.
And it helps see the darkness or the potential darkness in people that he looks at. So that's how you can spot his next person to help him possibly.
The only thing I can see Frank Castle doing that would be even remotely. Why am I blanking on like English dialogue tonight? I can't think of words tonight. But like basically like the rules of engagement would kick in. So the only thing I would altruistic is I guess like the word I'm trying to come up with would be to minimize the casualties, the collateral damage. That's the only thing that I could see him where he's actually thinking about anybody else other than himself. But within the fights, if like Comic Chat said, if the Batman Who Laughs does not intervene, Frank Castle will be able to hold his own, and it could get to the point where he'll pull a grenade and say, "I'm taking you out with me."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember seeing the Amazing the Spider-Man cartoon, and they had the Punisher series on there, chapter.
Yeah.
He had a war van. He had somebody helping him, and the war van was kind of like mechanized, and he could place it strategically. I don't know if he had an AI, but he had a remote, and it could like send him different weapons and stuff too. So if you're using that version of the Punisher, in addition to like we use the War Machine version, then he can make it interesting.
Oh yeah, because he would definitely have a contingency if he was losing. I mean, he knew that there was a chance that he would lose against Spider-Man, and he actually freaking launched a damn missile.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember, or because I just watched that like earlier this year, the entire Spider-Man series, and he's like, yeah, activate the missile. And his friend from the van, he's like, oh crap, but he did. And it's like, oh shit. But yeah, I mean, this, like I said, or like we all agree, Punisher, yes, there is rules of engagement, and yes, he does have a slight sense of altruism when it comes to rules of engagement, but he also, or if he knows that, or if he believes that stopping Grimnite would save countless others, he's willing to play by the rules of the enemy. He's not, and there are no rules when you're doing that. This is a guy that will literally go above, beyond, and as far as humanly possible to.
I agree with you there. When I said altruism, I mean like to get them into a situation where there's no collateral damage.
Yeah.
But at that point, if stopping the Grim Knight means taking himself out as well, he will do it, and he'll fight dirty.
Mm-hmm. Don't know. Or Studying in Brave Megatron. Don't know much about Grimnite, but if he's as skilled and intelligent as normal Batman, then I say Grimnite will win because I believe Batman could take down Frank. Yeah. I mean, I'd actually agree with that too, but there are several, or this is a person where this is a Batman who is not as moral as Bruce Wayne. Now, if he was going up against Bruce Wayne and the original Batman, Frank would hold back because he's realizing this person is not going lethal.
Yeah.
But he still would not, but he wouldn't hold back in other aspects as well. Now, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think if you're gonna go with the normal Batman, I think it would depend on like which Batman there is, because there's been many iterations, whether it's comics or movies. I mean, you have
this is the prime Batman from the comics that we're thinking of.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is Grimnite, who is basically a darker Punisherized version of him.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like this Batman, is he kind of sort of like Thomas Wayne that we see in the Flashpoint?
In a sense, but a lot more extreme.
Okay.
And yeah, I also saw the Flashpoint. I have almost every movie of the DCAU. I'm just missing the Suicide Squad, Hell to Pay, and Bloodlines, Wonder Woman. And then I'll actually have all those, and it's like I can actually do a full review.
They are so much better than Marvel. It's not even funny.
I mean,
I've only seen a few of those DCAU movies. I still need to watch more of them. I I've seen Flashpoint. I liked it. It's good.
Yeah. Have you
And,
seen Dark
Justice-
Swords War Apocalypse on the Dark Side War? The last one that came out?
Oh no,
Yeah.
I want to. I've seen Justice League War. I enjoyed that.
You need to check out Dark
I
Side.
I still need to see was it Justice League Doom? I hear that's a big one. I still need to see
Justice
that.
League Doom is good, but that's not part of the DCAU.
Yeah, no.
That's actually
Oh,
You
yeah.
see the Red Sun, that was good.
Yep. That's an Elseworlds.
There's 1-2 with Batman, and he goes like the future Japan. I can't think of the name of it.
Oh, Ninja Batman.
Oh, Ninja Batman.
Yeah.
I saw that and I'm like, it's
It's a little different.
movie. It's entertaining, but yeah. You were saying?
Runner.
Oh, me? I wasn't saying anything. At least I don't think I was.
I thought you were making a point before that.
Oh no, I was done.
Okay. I guess it's on you there, Mr. Orange Hat.
Funny that Soul Assassin brings this up. There was an actual angelic and demonic story arc to Frank Castle where it was a demon that actually masqueraded as a human that arranged the assassination of his family, and an archangel Gadriel, not Galadriel, but Gadriel, not to be confused with Gabriel, actually bestowed heavenly power on Punisher. And after all was said and done, God actually asked Punisher, he's like, "Do you want to, or do you want to fight, or do you want to fight with us? Do you want to join us?" And he's like, "Nope." This is a guy that,
I've
This
never
is-
seen that before.
it was in the 616 stuff that I read on, and
So they put him in the class of God. Just had it.
They
of,
basically gave him kind of
of
like
Spawn?
a John Constantine Archangel
But-
thing.
He's almost like Spawn.
In a sense, yes, but
A
Heaven
reverse,
side
a reverse
instead of
of Spawn.
yeah. And he literally said, this is a guy that said no to God to his face when God or his archangels basically said, "You want to join this fight?" And he's like, "Nope."
The dumbass.
I mean, well, you gotta think of it from his point of view. This is a man who has been utterly broken. His life is a tragedy. You got to be thinking that there's at least one part in there that might actually blame the man upstairs for for his family dying. Because if I do remember correctly, I believe that Frank Castle was devout
Okay. I don't know
before
if he
all that
was,
happened.
but the difference between him and Batman would have said yes, because he was saying yes. I'm pretty sure God would have granted him some kind of angelical powers or something, and he could have get the powers and then go ahead and go kind of rogue and be an even more better version of the Punisher.
True. I mean, that would, or if we're talking Grimnite, he would have definitely done that.
Yes, that's what I'm
But-
saying.
Normal Batman, he would have said nope as well. I mean, I do believe that Batman, because yes, we are getting a little bit off the beaten track, but I do want to talk about this. I do believe Batman did actually wear one of the rings before. I can't remember which one.
Talking about one of the Green Lantern rings?
One of the Lantern rings. I don't know if it was Green Lantern or a White Lantern, but
It was Green Lantern because he stole it from him.
yeah.
The Green Lantern was talking some junk and stuff, and Batman took the ring from him, then gave it back to him. But then it was also on one of the shows. I'm not sure which one, where I think the Green Lantern, Justice League, and the Penguin had it at first. It was wreaking havoc, but it was running out of power. So Batman got up, and then he was doing all kind of crazy stuff, and he gave it back to Green Lantern.
Yeah. I mean, that is also a funny part in Justice League War where Hal Jordan's just chatting the hell up Bruce Wayne, and then Bruce Wayne, he's like, "What does this do?" And it's his freaking ring. He's like, "Oh shit!"
Yep.
He took it without Hal even. He took it off of Hal's hand without Hal even knowing.
Yep.
I mean, that's the kind of Batman that is a cool Batman. Where Grimnite, he could possibly do the same damn thing.
But could you imagine Batman with a Green Lantern ring, and that's powered on willpower? Who has more willpower than Batman?
Very true. Very true. Now, okay, we are getting to 10 minutes before the hour, so final analysis, given weapons and mentality and all of it, out of 10 battles, different scenarios, out of 10, who wins the most? And we'll start with Mara.
Okay, who wins the most? Well, I would say who wins the most would be the Grimnite. Let's see. I think I might be a little bit generous with Frank Castle. I'd say 7 out of 10 for the Grimnite, at least. I would give, and I give, like, depending on the circumstances, 2 to Frank Castle. And I would actually argue that 1 would be a draw, and that would be Frank Castle taking both of them out.
All right.
I could see Frank Castle doing that, getting to that point. If he finds out nothing else is working and he has to take this man down. So that's my final score, giving a little bit. I guess I don't want to say advantage, but give a little bit to Frank Castle, so it's not a complete runaway for Grimnite.
Yeah. Dan?
I'm going to say 8-1 and a tie. 8 to Grimnite, 1 to the Punisher, and then a tie, like Mara said.
All right. Runner?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Grimnite. I mean, there are some areas here and there where Punisher can take it, but yeah, pretty much what these guys are saying. I'm gonna have to go with Grimnite on this.
Out of 10 fights?
Yes.
So it's a 10 out of 10 Grimnite all the way through?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, actually. Not trying to say that. Like there would be some rounds where Punisher could win, is what I meant to say.
Put a number on it. How many would Grimnite win? How many would Punisher win, you think?
All right.
Yeah.
I think. Oh man, I don't know. That's tough. I think Punisher would probably win. I'm gonna say 3, and Grimnite would probably win 7.
Okay.
All right.
That being 10.
And mine I'm going to be generous. I mean, given all the stuff I've looked up, yes, Grimnite will take most of them. I would give him 6. And I would give 3 to Punisher and 1 as a tie. Because remember, this is a man who has nothing to lose. So a tie where he takes out both, or where Frank goes kamikaze, I believe he would go that far in at least one scenario. But I still would give it to Grimnite. And strictly because, again, he is a genius. He has a lot of armament. This guy is a billionaire. His resources are quite extensive. Now, while the Punisher is indeed smart as well, his resources are finite, or are not as extensive as Bruce Wayne's. So yeah, he's definitely going to have some limitations. But there are some areas where I do think that he would actually take more than 1 win. He would actually have at least 3 wins out of 10. Now, so that is actually the fight. And what does everybody else in the chat think? Who would win out of 10? Or give me your out of 10 in the chat. And while we wait for people to give their out of 10s, what is everybody's thoughts on, well, we already know Mara Jade's. What is everybody's thoughts on the Justice League Snyder cut, and what do you want to see in that movie coming out?
You sure with Mara first, or me, or
We'll let Mara, because this is a question that actually I haven't asked her yet. So,
Okay.
what do
Well,
you want to see coming out of it?
what do I want to see coming out of it?
Yeah.
I really just at this point just want to see what Zack Snyder was going to give us, based on what the trailer we saw first before he had to leave the project and Joss Whedon came in and gave us that cinematic abortion.
Yep.
Back in 2017. Like we see the trailer. I want to see Darkseid. I want to see Steppenwolf, like an actual Steppenwolf that what Zack Snyder was going to give us, not what we got in 2017. I want to see the Sod, because he was in the trailer. So I want to see how much he's going to be in the movie. You have the apocalypse scenario in the trailer. You know what's going to happen. Maybe even see Martian Manhunter based on the scene, one scene that was shown in the trailer. I'm just like going off of like the speculation based on what we know, and I just want really just 4 hours of like glorious, episodic cinematic masterpieces on HBO Max. Literally at this point, and also I just want a damn date. Give us a damn release date at this point.
Same here.
We just have 2021, and that's all of like 365 days potentially next year. So
Exactly. All right, comic chat.
I want to be mesmerized. I want this to be a hit, because a lot of people want to classify certain YouTubers as Marvel fanboys or DC fanboys. I'm neither. I'm a comic book fanboy. So any comic book movie that comes out, I am rooting for it. When they're not successful, it makes me sad, because then sometimes that hurts the whole momentum that comic book movies have now. And I don't want to hear this comic book fatigue. I think finally the technology has caught up with what we've been reading for all these years. So I want Zack Snyder to hit it out the park. I want this movie to be so fantastic that it catches up with Marvel, because I don't want one brand to be so much better than the other one. Marvel has figured out the formula, and they're using it to perfection. Some people like it, some people don't. I like it. So I want DC, because they only had, if I'm correct, the only $1 million movie they had was Aquaman, and I think that they are losing so much potential to be so much better, because Henry Cavill to me is the perfect Superman, and Ben Affleck is the perfect Batman. So I hope that when we see this Zack Snyder cut, we are blown away. I hope that people like it so much that they demand that DCU or Warner Brothers sign Ben Affleck and Superman, make a World's Finest, make a Man of Steel 2, make a Batman whatever, make a Justice League 2. So all of this movie is going to hinge. All that potential is going to hinge on this movie. If Zack Snyder lays an egg or wets the bed, we will never see that stuff. But if he hits a home run, then DC would have new life breathed into it. And that's what I got my fingers and toes crossed for whenever we see it next year.
Yeah. Runner?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the way Zack Snyder was going with Man of Steel and BVS, and just I remember seeing Justice League in the theater, and I was just like, I was confused. And later I saw it sometime at home. I think it was on cable or something, and I was just like, I want to see this again to see what I really think. And then it's like, yeah, this is not what these characters were meant to be. This is not Zack Snyder, and I wanted to see his version for a while. I'm glad it's coming out. I really want the Batfleck that we were meant to get, not Fat Fleck. That's not what I wanted. And I don't want any of that dirt on Superman or Henry Cavill's face that he had in Justice League. No, and yeah, I mean, and some of the news that Zack Snyder's dropped on Vero or Twitter, whatever. I mean, it got me more excited. I mean, the storyboards that he dropped, like the Martian Manhunter stuff, I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome. I mean, Darkseid looks badass. Desaad looks awesome. Steppenwolf, just it all looks great so far. I'm super hyped. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more I can say, but it's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope if this becomes, which it will be, it's gonna be big, and I hope they can get Zack Snyder back just somehow. He doesn't have to direct it, but he can, like, I don't know, help out at least. I mean, because
Consult.
Yeah.
I
Called, produced.
exactly.
Wonder Woman 84. We're going to see what a movie without Zack Snyder's influence, like
Yeah.
minus Joss, like what a movie without Zack Snyder's influence can be like.
Exactly. I mean, and Mara can agree with me on this. I remember seeing the cheetah design. I was just like, yeah, no. And I even saw the design on fucking IMAX, and it looks just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going to see the movie.
Same.
I cannot believe I want to find the idiots who decided to release it on Christmas Day just so I can slap him or her.
That's not good. No.
But I'm like,
Release what on Christmas Day?
Wonder Woman 84. That's the release date, Christmas Day this year.
Yeah.
I thought traditionally December movies did well.
Well, December movies do well, but it's on a major holiday, and the way to do it so it does well would have been to release it the week before.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly, because you have, like, people are off most of the time. Exactly.
People are off. The closer you get to Christmas, the busier people are. Like, especially parents and having to deal with wrapping their kids' presents. If they have family coming over, getting their house set up and everything like that. And you release a movie on Christmas Day when everybody people just want to relax.
Exactly.
Especially after they've been with family the entire day. It's you do it the week before. You get people before that busyness starts. Kids are coming out of school, so you have that element. People are taking off of work.
It might.
Yes.
I see what you're saying about that, Mike, and I agree with you to a point. But I think Friday numbers may be bad, but Saturday and Sunday's gonna kill.
Well, maybe, I don't know, but I'm only going off of like me personally, like what it was like for me growing up, and even the day after Christmas, we'd be going to see family.
Yeah.
So
I think that night that'd be a family event. I know my daughter and son-in-law coming to town. If I say, hey, let's go check out New Wonder Woman, I think that next day they would do it. Mm-hmm. But I agree with you. Christmas night, that it ain't happening.
No. And I want to see it. I do a live stream every Saturday. I think I brought that up in my intro. So
yes,
I want to see it before that Saturday stream. So I'd have to either see it Friday night or early enough Saturday. So I can talk about it.
That would suck with like a YouTube channel, and you review that. That would, I can see your point on that.
Mm-hmm. So
for me,
they may let it go straight. They may do it VOD too as well. So I mean, I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, they already delayed Black Widow. So
yeah,
I wanted to see that this year because I want to see how good or how if they respect Taskmaster like they should, because Taskmaster is a great freaking character.
I could be wrong, but I think they're gonna retcon some of what we saw in Endgame.
Possibly.
Yeah, you make a good point. I could see that.
I believe something else is going to change.
As for me with the Snyder Cut, when I saw the trailer, it's like, this is nothing like what I saw in that, well, as Mara said, a cinematic abortion.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong, there are some, and I mean this in the very literally least sense, some interesting parts in Justice League, but overall, the movie is very tonally different from the Snyderverse. So I do want to actually see I want to see how this goes, because we do see that Joe Morton's character, which is Cyborg's dad, die in Snyderverse, and well, he lives and kind of does the whole heroic thing. I'll die before it's like, really? You are staring down an intergalactic freaking causer or killer of planets. And you're wow. Okay. I mean, as much as Joe Morton is great in a lot of movies I've seen him in, I just don't buy that. I'm sorry.
No, it would happen. No. It would happen the way Zack Snyder has it, where he doesn't give up anything, but he dies anyway. So
yeah, I mean, when I looked at that trailer and I'm seeing a lot of people breaking down the trailer and whatnot, I'm like, I want to know because we know that Steppenwolf is behind Cyborg when Cyborg's screaming out no, and his father just bites it.
Yep.
And then there's a scene where Cyborg's walking and like really weird with the flash behind him, and you see a tear come off of Cyborg's face. So it's like, was this just like right after his father died? What is it? I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about the tear, so it's like, it's a very easy thing to miss too. I will do it, but it is a very easy thing to miss. Now I just want
to answer. Soul Assassin's question real fast. Yes, Cyberpunk still is coming out before Christmas.
It's coming out November 19th.
Yeah, it's sure hell better because I pre-ordered that shit and it got delayed twice.
Yeah, I know. I didn't pre-order it yet, but I want to, and yeah, I got pissed when it got delayed like twice. Yeah, but no. But speaking of the Cyborg tier, like I noticed it when Zack Snyder and HBO Max released the one, like those like teaser things that they've released of like they released like 3 shots of the movie before the actual trailer was coming out for DC Fandom, and one of them was Cyborg kind of like struggling, and there was a tear coming out, and I did actually see that first time. It just wasn't, like you said, it wasn't talked about very much.
Yeah. Alrighty, so I am going to have to start wrapping it up because we are past the hour. And I do want to thank each and every one of my panelists, and I will give them another chance to plug their channel before we go and do the outro. So, Mara, give yourself one more plug before we go.
Hello, I am Mara Jade, aka Jade Shadow on YouTube, OG Mara Jade on Twitter, Jade Fire on Twitch. I will be getting back to playing on my Twitch channel in short order, possibly tomorrow evening. I've just been very busy with school this past week or so, playing catch up with assignments because I had to order another book that came late. So that's always fun when you're trying to play catch up. I try to get a video out every day or as close to it as I can. If I don't get a video out, I do a live stream, which I might do next week on Wednesday evening since I won't be able to do one on Thursday. But I cover pretty diverse topics, mainly covering DC and gaming right now, particularly Cyberpunk and Ghost of Tsushima, because I'm looking forward to the Legends DLC that's coming to that game. So if you play Ghost of Tsushima, there'll be a multiplayer co-op mode coming for free if you have the game. So I'm looking for the release date for that so I can talk about that, but nothing like that so far. Until then, catch me tomorrow on my channel for the Nerdy and the Lethal at 10 p.m. Eastern, where we talk all things pop culture and nerdy.
Alrighty. Comic Chat.
I am Comic Chat. Real name Danny. I have several shows throughout the week. A Chaotic Conversation on Mondays, Chaos Lives on Tuesdays with another guy I stream with. The Rule of 3 on Wednesdays with Chris Knight. Square One Saturdays, which is a sports talk show, and Equilibrium on Sunday, where we discuss The Boys, season 2 of The Boys. So there's a lot of material out there, a lot of content. I know you can't watch it all, but please hit the playlist. Please try to support. I'm trying to get to my next goal, which is 1,300 subscribers. Just recently got monetized, so please just sub to my channel. I appreciate it, and thanks for inviting me on, chat.
You're very welcome, Comic Chat. Runner?
So yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Runner Studios. I'm also on Twitter. The links are the links are on the chat. That's Soul Assassin plugged. I'm trying to create more content now on my channel. But yeah, school is also holding me back. So it's not gonna be like, don't expect too much just yet. But I'm also on the Gaming Lounge with a bunch of other great content creators that you all should subscribe to, because they're great. We talk about video games, video game news, all that sort of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, hop in the chat and talk. We'd like to have more discussion and stuff. That's awesome.
Alrighty. And with that, I do actually want to pull it up. So before we go, I'm going to give you all a teaser for the next Versus stream. Let me just, let's see here, files, and get ready to share my screen. But yeah, stay tuned definitely, folks, for 2 weeks, because this one is bringing back the army versus stream. It's going to be 2 armies versus each other. And once this thing finishes loading, I can freaking find it. Don't you just love technology, folks? It's unreliable and reliable at the same time. Well, it doesn't look like it wants to load, so unfortunately I can't show you the thumbnail, but it will be on my Twitter after the stream is over. So the 2 weeks from now is going to be the Xenomorph army making its way back into the Versus streams, and this time, instead of Mandalorians, it's going to be fighting the Yuzong Bong. So OG Star Wars is going to be joining me on that one. Anybody in this chat or in this panel want to join that one too?
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yuzong Bong, that's the things that block the force, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that was I on the Xenomorph versus Mandalorian stream? Because I was Team Xenomorph.
Yeah.
In this case, that one would be very hard, but in 2 weeks, I'm trying to see what date that'll be. That'll be October 8th or 9th.
Let me check.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah. October 9th.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that one.
All right. You won't?
I won't. I don't think I will be able to do that one.
All righty. Comic or Runner?
Just reach out to me. I'm in the process of trying to move to a new house, so I don't know how that schedule is going to be. But if I am settled, I will be more than happy to do it.
All righty, Runner.
Yeah, I don't think so. That sounds interesting, but yeah, I'm not too sure really what my schedule is. Probably not.
All righty. But anyway, folks, thank you for tuning in, and thank you to each one of you guys, Mara Jade, Comic, and Runner, for joining me on this panel. It was a great discussion.
Sure was.
So yeah, folks, tune in for 2 weeks for the next Versus stream. Also, if you like the Harry Potter discussion vids that I do in between Versus streams, we're doing Year 7 Part 1 next Friday, same time, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And we're going to have the Harry Potter panelists on that one. So stay tuned for that if you want to catch those. And the Versus streams in 2 weeks So with that, this has been Orange Hat Reviews and Panel. Catch y'all on the next one, and stay humble, folks.